Hey, it's Sarah from the Dainty Pear. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about therapy and psychiatry for Mental Health Awareness Month. I feel like that was unnecessary, but it was also necessary. I have about 1.5 million things that I could say about this, so I'm going to try and make it more concise and keep it a little bit more short. But I've had really positive and really negative experiences with therapy. So I'm going to tell you why I went to therapy in the first place and why I almost never went back, and then why I'm glad I did go back. We'll get there. Okay. So all growing up, I had anxiety. If you guys have seen any of my videos, you might know that I had my first panic attack in 1st grade. Not fun. It really stinks to be a kid with anxiety. I think you miss out on a lot of things or just overthink a lot of things that most typical children don't think about, and it's just an added stress and blah blah blah. Then as an adult, I was pregnant with our first baby, and my hormones directly affect my anxiety. And as you can imagine, lots of changes going on in the body for a woman when they are pregnant or on birth control. That was another time I had a lot of struggle. I got really depressed, suicidal on birth control, and I just was so out of whack. So I was pregnant with our first, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to figure something out. So I went to a therapist. I will say it was the worst experience ever. It was so bad. My personal opinion, she wasn't a very good therapist, but even though that was the case, I still felt better talking to somebody and getting out and verbalizing these things that were consuming me and causing so much anxiety. That was really helpful. So even though she talked like 95% of the time, which is totally fine, because if I wasn't paying $100 an hour, you bet your bottom I want to hear all about it. But she kind of talked about her own issues, and I was like, okay, I'm here kind of to talk about my anxiety.
I'm here to talk about my anxiety.
It's fine, it's fine. After that, I was like, yeah, maybe therapy is just not my thing. So fast forward 6, 7 years, we moved to Texas, and I struggled so badly. Even though we grew to love it, and some of my best friends were made there, we got there and I just struggled. Like, lay on the couch, can't get out of bed type thing. And I've struggled with a lot of anxiety throughout my life, but not as much of the depression. And so it was like a whole new world for me. I was like, what is wrong with me? And I started having night terrors, and I'd had them for a long, long time. I remember even as a kid, my parents coming in to me having a night terror and helping me calm down and all of that, but they became super frequent. I would be pacing my room in the middle of the night having really bad panic attacks, and it was really scary because my heart would be pounding and I just felt like I was suffocating, and I just remember praying and just being like, I can't do this anymore. So I went to a therapist there, but rewind. I pulled up therapists in my area, and I literally went down the list and prayed over each one. And I was just like, help me to know if they are the right one for me. Because remember, I had a lot of bad experiences with therapy, and I was like, this is like my last straw with therapy.
Like, this is my grasping at straws, like my bottom of the barrel.
I'm desperate, so I'm gonna do this, but I don't really know how much they can do for me. And so I found somebody who was awesome. And I did talk about this in my faith story that I did with the Faith Collective, so I'll link that down below. But basically, she was like, okay, let's start at the beginning. And she just wanted to hear me out. And I was like, what do you mean? Like the beginning? And she's like, yeah, how am I supposed to help you if I don't know what you've walked through? And I was like,
oh my gosh, she actually cares, and like, she's gonna help me figure this out.
we made a lot of connections as to why I might have anxiety, and as to why certain things might hit me harder than others, and how I was wired in certain ways from childhood and like all these things. And I will say, I'm not super into like digging into the past. I'd rather just move forward. And so it was kind of hard for me at first to relive all of those things because I really didn't want to. And my anxiety kind of got worse. Like, there was a little honeymoon period where I was like, ah. Every time I left, I was like, oh, I just felt happy. And we started getting into like more complicated things, and I was, why did I do this? And I just would leave like feeling drained. I kept having night terrors, and it just wasn't fun. But after a while, I probably went to her 7 or 8 times. So this is just over a couple of months, and she helped me process just really random things. I would walk in and she's like, you seem super anxious today. I'm like, I am. And I could just kind of be myself and talk to her, and it was really nice. Then we moved again, and since then I have not been back to therapy, but I did talk to a psychiatrist over Zoom, and I was able to just kind of talk to her and decide if different options were gonna be good for me or not, and we can get into that another time. But I highly recommend therapy with a caveat of make sure you find the right person. Be an advocate for yourself. You're not stuck going to one person, especially now that the world has kind of experienced a pandemic and a shift in different options, like doing things virtually. The psychiatrist I did talk to, she's like, I definitely recommend that you still get a therapist even though you are doing well, and try and find somebody in person. So if you're only able to do it through Zoom or an app or whatever is offered, then that's great too. I think something is better than nothing, but she did mention this is just from a professional. So that is my little spiel about therapy. Do not be, I'm trying to decide if I put these tips in this video or in another video. I just have so much more to say about like what to do going into therapy. I think I'll do another one, but I just wanted to encourage you in this one that if you feel that you could benefit from it, just do it. It's worth a try. You might find a couple that you just don't jive with, and I say this even with my birth clients and doula clients. Feel free to shop around for your healthcare providers. I know not everybody has that option, but if you do, take advantage of that, because you really are your advocate, and you should find somebody who you can trust, who you mesh with, and who you feel is making a positive difference for you, and that you can be vulnerable with. So I hope that is helpful. I just wanted to share a little bit of my story, so hopefully it can help you. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos, and I will talk to you later.